'Twill drive me that black speck, a shuddering hulk, caught in the buffeting waves, dashed impotent from ridge to ridge, will drive it in the night with that dull jarring crash upon the beach, and the cries for help and the cries of fear and hope. And then tomorrow they will thoughtfully, with grave low voices, count their perils up, and thank the gods for having let them live, and tell of wives or mothers in their homes, and children who would have such loss in them that they must weep, and maybe I weep too, with fancy of the weepings had they died. And the next morrow they will feel their ease and sigh with sleek content, or laugh elate, tasting delights of rest and revelling, music and perfumes, joyaunce for the eyes of rosy faces and luxurious pomps, the savour of the banquet and the glow and fragrance of the wine-cup. And they'll talk how good it is to house in palaces out of the storms and struggles, and what luck strewed their good ship on our accessless coast. Then, the next day, the beast in them will wake, and one will strike and bicker, and one swell with puffed-up greatness, and one jibe and strut in apish pranks, and one will line his sleeve with pilfered booties, and one snatch the gems out of the carven goblets as they pass. One will grow mad with fever of the wine, and one will sluggishly besot himself, and one be lewd, and one be gluttonous, and I shall sickly look and loathe them all. Oh, my rare cup, my pure and crystal cup, with not one speck of colour to make false the passing lights, or flaw to make them swerve, my cup of truth! How the lost fools will laugh and thank me for my boon, as if I gave some momentary flash of the gods' joy, to drink where I have drunk and touch the touch of my lips with their own. Ay, let them touch. Too cruel am I? And the silly beasts, crowding around me when I pass their way, glower on me, and, although they love me still, with their poor sorts of love, such as they could, call wrath and vengeance to their humid eyes to scare me into mercy, or creep near with piteous fawnings, supplicating bleats. Too cruel? Did I choose them what they are? Or change them from themselves by poisonous charms? But any draught, pure water, natural wine, out of my cup, revealed them to themselves and to each other. Change? There was no change, only disguise gone from them unawares, and had there been one right true man of them, he would have drunk the draught as I had drunk, and stood unchanged, and looked me in the eyes, abashing me before him. But these things, why, which of them has even shown the kind of some one nobler beast? Pah! Yapping wolves and pitiless stealthy wild cats, curs and apes and gorging swine, and slinking venomous snakes, all false and ravenous and sensual brutes that shame the earth that bore them. These they are. Lo, lo! The shivering blueness darting forth on half the heavens, and the forked thin fire strikes to the sea. And hark, the sudden voice that rushes through the trees before the storm and shuddering of the branches. Yet the sky is blue against them still, and early stars glimmer above the pine tops, and the air clings faint and motionless around me here. Another burst of flame, and the black speck shows in the glare, lashed onwards. It were well I bade make ready for our guests tonight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Desert Pools by Sarah Teasdale. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira. May 2015. I love too much. I am a river surging with spring that seeks the sea. I am too generous a giver. Love will not stoop to drink of me. His feet will turn to desert places, shadowless, reft of rain and dew, where stars stare down with sharpened faces from heavens pitilessly blue. And there at midnight, sick with faring, he will stoop down in his desire to slake the thirst grown past all bearing in stagnant water keen as fire. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Early, Pearly Morning, song by Valgavind, by Lawrence Hope. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. The fields are full of poppies, and the skies are very blue. By the temple and the coppice I wait, beloved, for you. The level land is sunny, and the errant air is gay, with the scent of rose and honey. Will you come to me today? From carven walls above me smile lovers, many a pair. Oh, take this rose and love me. She has twined it in her hair. He advances, she retreating, pursues and holds her fast. The sculptor left them meeting, in a close embrace at last. Through centuries together in the carven stone they lie, in the glow of golden weather and the endless azure sky. Oh, that we who have for pleasure so short and scant a stay should waste our summer leisure. Will you come to me today? The temple bells are ringing, for the marriage month is come. I hear the women singing and the throbbing of the drum. And when the song is failing or the drums a moment mute, the weirdly wistful wailing of the melancholy flute. Little life has got to offer, and little man to lose, since today fate deigns to proffer. Oh, wherefore then refuse to take this transient hour in the dusky temple gloom, while the poppies are in flower, and the mango trees abloom? And if fate remember later, and come to claim her due, what sorrow will be greater than the joy I had with you? For today, lit by your laughter, between the crushing years, I will chance, in the hereafter, eternities of tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Epitaph by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Read for LibriVox.org. Stop, Christian passer-by, stop, child of God, and read with gentle breast. Beneath this sod a poet lies, or that which once seemed to be. Oh, lift one thought in prayer for S.T.C., that he who many a year with toil of breath found death in life may here find life in death. Mercy for praise, to be forgiven for fame he'd ask, and hoped through Christ do thou the same. 9th November, 1833. This recording is in the public domain.
The Eternal Justice by Anne Reeve Aldrich. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Thank God that shall judge my soul, not man. I marvel when they say, think of that awful day no pitying fellow sinner's eyes shall scan with tolerance thy soul, but his who knows the whole, the God whom all men own is wholly just. Hold thou that last word dear, and live untouched by fear. He knows with what strange fires he mixed this dust, the heritage of race, the circumstance and place which make us what we are, were from his hand, that left us faint of voice, small margin for a choice. He gave, I took. Shall I not fearless stand? Hereditary bent that hedges in intent, he knows, be sure, the God who shaped thy brain. He loves the souls he made. He knows his own hand laid on each the mark of some ancestral stain. Not souls severely white, but groping for more light, are what eternal justice here demands. Fear not, he made thee dust. Cling to that sweet word, just. All's well with thee, if thou art in just hands. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Jingle, Biloba, and Splitting Up by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Read for LibriVox.org. Jingle, Biloba. Leaf of eastern tree transplanted here into my garden's field, hast me secret meaning granted, which a depth's delight will yield. Art thou one living being now divided into two? Art thou two, who joined agreeing, and in one united grew? To the question, pondered duly, have I found the right reply. In my poems you see truly twofold, and yet one am I. End of poem. Splitting up. Life I never can divide. Inner and outer together you see, whole to all I must abide, otherwise I cannot be. Always I have only writ what I feel and mean to say. Thus, my friend, although I split, yet remain I one alway. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The glory of the day was in her face, by James Weldon Johnson. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. The glory of the day was in her face. The beauty of the night was in her eyes. And over all her loveliness, the grace of morning blushing in the early skies. And in her voice, the calling of the dove, like music of a sweet melodious part. And in her smile, the breaking light of love, and all the gentle virtues in her heart. And now the glorious day, the beauteous night, the birds that signal to their mates at dawn. To my dull ears, to my tear-blinded sight, are one with all the dead, since she is gone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Great Mercy by Catherine Tynan. Read for LibriVox.org by Son of the Exiles. The Great Mercy. Betwixt the saddle and the ground was mercy sought and mercy found. Yea, in the twinkling of an eye he cried, and thou hast heard his cry. Between the bullet and its mark thy face made morning in his dark, and while the shell sang on its path thou hast run, preventing death. Thou hast run before and reached the goal, gathered to thee the unhoused soul. Thou art not bound by time or space, so fast death runs, thou hast won the race. Thou hast said to beaten death, go tell of victories thou once hadst, all's well. Death, here none die but thee and sin, now the great days of life begin. And to the soul this day I rise, and thee with me to paradise. Betwixt the saddle and the ground was mercy sought and mercy found. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Introduction to Songs of Innocence by William Blake. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo692. Piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee, On a cloud I saw a child, and he laughing said to me, "Pipe a song about a lamb." So I piped with merry cheer. Piper, pipe that song again. So I piped, he wept to hear. Drop thy pipe, thy happy pipe, sing thy songs of happy cheer. So I sung the same again, while he wept with joy to hear. Piper, sit thee down and write in a book that all may read. So he vanished from thy sight, and I plucked a hollow reed, and I made a rural pen, and I stained the water clear, and I wrote my happy songs, every child may joy to hear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
I was looking a long while, by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Chris Pyle. I was looking a long while for intentions, for a clue to the history of the past, for myself and for these chants. And now I have found it. It is not in those paged fables in the libraries. Them I neither accept nor reject. It is no more in the legends than in all else. It is in the present. It is this earth today. It is in democracy, the purport and aim of all the past. It is the life of one man or one woman today, the average man of today. It is in languages, social customs, literatures, arts. It is in the broad show of artificial things, ships, machinery, politics, creeds, modern improvements, and the interchange of nations, all for the modern, all for the average man of today. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Joy by Sarah Teasdale. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira. May 2015. I am wild, I will sing to the trees. I will sing to the stars in the sky. I love, I am loved, he is mine. Now at last I can die. I am sandaled with wind and with flame. I have heart fire and singing to give. I can tread on the grass or the stars. Now at last I can live. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Lamb by William Blake. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo692. Little lamb, who made thee? Does thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and o'er the mead? Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright? Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice? Little lamb, who made thee? Does thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I'll tell thee. Little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild. He became a little child. I a child and thou a lamb. We are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Longing by Matthew Arnold. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Come to me in my dreams, and then by day I shall be well again, for then the night will more than pay the hopeless longing of the day. Come, as thou camest 1,000 times, a messenger from radiant climes, and smile on thy new world, and be as kind to others as to me. Or as thou never cam'st, in sooth, come now, and let me dream it truth, and part my hair, and kiss my brow, and say, my love, why sufferest thou? Come to me in my dreams, and then by day I shall be well again, for then the night will more than pay the hopeless longing of the day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Miracles by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Chris Pyle. Why, who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan, or dart my eye o'er the roofs of houses toward the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with anyone I love, or sleep in the bed at night with anyone I love, or sit at table at dinner with the rest, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of a summer forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds, or the wonderfulness of insects in the air, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite delicate thin curve of the new moon in spring. These with the rest, one and all, are to me miracles, the whole referring, yet each distinct and in its place. To me every hour of the light and dark is a miracle, every cubic inch of space is a miracle, every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same, every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me the sea is a continual miracle, the fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ode to Work in Springtime by Thomas R. Ibarra, read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Oh, would that working I might shun, from labor my connection sever, that I might do a bit, or none whatever, that I might wander over hills, establish friendship with a daisy, or pretty things like daffodils go crazy, that I might at the heavens gaze, concern myself with nothing weighty, loaf at a stretch for 7 days, or 80. Why can't I cease a slave to be, and taste existence beatific on some fair island hid in the Pacific, instead of sitting at a desk mid undone labors, grimly lurking? Oh, say, what is there picturesque in working? But no, to loaf were misery. I love to work. Hang isles of coral! To end this otherwise would be immoral. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Out of the Morning by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo692. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains, if I were as tall as they? Has it feet like water lilies? Has it feathers like a bird? Is it brought from famous countries, of which I have never heard? Oh, some scholar, oh, some sailor, oh, some wise man from the skies, please to tell the little pilgrim where the place called morning lies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by David Allen. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April, in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or by sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church tower as a signal light. One if by land, and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm." Then he said good night, and with muffled oar silently rowed to the Charleston shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, where swinging wide at her moorings lay the Somerset, a British man-of-war, a phantom ship, with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile, his friend, through alley and street, wanders and watches with eager ears, till in silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barracks door, and the sound of arms, and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore. Then he climbed the tower of the old North Church, by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread, to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the sombre rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade, by the trembling ladder steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all. Beneath, in the churchyard, lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear, like a sentinel's tread, the watchful night wind as it went creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour, and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. But suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side, now gazed at the landscape far and near. Then, impetuous, stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and sombre and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till forlorn his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. A hurry of hoofs in the village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in passing a spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and